Then the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by God that they should feed her there 1,260 days. But the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness to her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the presence of the serpent. Okay, everyone, put on your thinking caps. Since we're tapping into a very symbolic set of passages, we're about to get into a lot of things. And this is just 2 passages. Nonetheless, there is a wealth of wisdom and meaning here. We've defined the woman as the new covenant, the city of the living God, consisting of his people, not just in heaven, but on earth as well. Whether we realize it or not, we are one with those who have already passed on. We have defined the wilderness, representing our day of temptation or trial or testing. Not a literal day, but the manifestation of the light of righteous judgment to move us from the excessive love of self to loving God and others as ourselves. Now, who are they in Revelation 12:6? Based on the context, it has to be either the male son born of the woman or the dragon who stands against this male son. Revelation 12:14 tells us it is the dragon or serpent, because they feed the woman, and verse 14 says she is nourished or fed by the presence of the serpent. I know this really contradicts the traditional view, but I'm just going with the logic of the context. If we understand God's purpose regarding the serpent, we need not manipulate the passages or let our imagination see this as the fall of an angel called Lucifer. The war in heaven in Revelation 12:7 through 9 has nothing to do with such. If we wish to see this war, we need only read John chapter 8, especially verses 31 through 47. I do plan to do a series on fallen angels in the near future. Now, let me make this important distinction. To be fed or nourished by the serpent means to be instructed by the letter of the law. Again, proof of this is in John chapter 8, where Jesus tells the Pharisees, "You are of your father, the devil." Think about it. In Matthew 23:33, Jesus calls these same religious leaders serpents. As for the male son, this represents those truly born from above, giving a true testimony of God through Christ on earth. Of course, Jesus was the first, followed by the apostles. Okay, we now have the woman, the wilderness, feed and nourished, and they explained. What about the 1,260 days? Note the following. Jesus said there are 12 hours in the day. How many minutes are there in an hour? 60. So might 1260 symbolize the day and hour that Jesus speaks of in Matthew 24:36, which he clearly defines as the coming of the Son of Man in the very next verse? Could it really be that simple? And again, I stress the point that this is not a literal day, but equates to our day of trial. Now, unless I'm mistaken, when we compare Revelation 12:6 with 12:14, it appears that the 1,260 days is synonymous with the time and times and half a time. So, the day and hour, or coming of the Son of Man, equates to the day of the Lord, a necessary time of judgment implemented through the ongoing and divine process of resurrection, of living, death, then life. Not a future event, but a present reality. In Scripture, time is marked by an hour and day, while a season is marked by a month and year. So, in time and times, do we see an hour or time, a day or time, and a night or time, where the half or dividing of time represents a separation of day from night, or light from darkness, the good fruit from the bad. Well, I think we've touched on just about everything except for the two wings of a great eagle. Right away, I noticed the number 2, suggesting division and witness and agreeing with our perspective. And the eagle? If we stay within the scope of Revelation, this points to the cherubim, or 4 living creatures that John sees in the midst of the throne, where the 4th living creature is like a flying eagle. An eagle is indicative of ascending to high places. In other words, representing exaltation by either God or man. Since the eagle is the 4th living creature, let's consider the following from Stephen Jones. In biblical numerology, 4 is the number of the earth, or the material creation of God. On the 4th day of creation, the material world was finished, thereby allowing God to furnish it with living creatures. There were also 4 great divisions of mankind, represented by the cherubim, or the 4 beasts, around the throne. These represent all creation. Likewise, there are 4 gospels, each corresponding to a different beast or living creature around the throne. Matthew presents the lion, saying, "Behold the king." Mark presents the ox, saying, "Behold the serpent." Luke presents the man, saying, "Behold the Son of Man," while John presents the eagle, saying, "Behold the Son of God." As we see, the eagle points to the Gospel of John and the presentation of the Lord as the Son of God. This, of course, refers to his divine power and authority, and even more specifically, to the highest power on earth, that of the unconditional love of God. Now, think about it. Is this not the purpose of the wilderness? To test us, humble us, and make us see that we live by every word proceeding from the mouth of God? Doesn't awakening to this then bring us to a place of bearing fruit? And isn't bearing fruit saying that we truly conduct ourselves by the love, grace, and mercy of the Father and the Son in all that we do? Now, let me back up a moment to the idea of the wilderness again. Please note the following. Those who see you will gaze at you and consider you, saying, "Is this the man who made the earth tremble, who shook kingdoms, who made the world as a wilderness and destroyed its cities, who did not open the house of his prisoners?" These passages are taken from a proverb against the king of Babylon in Isaiah chapter 14, charging him with making the world as a wilderness. A literal wilderness is a place of much difficulty, is it not? Perfect for representing the tribulation through which all of us pass. According to Isaiah, this wilderness is the world, right? Well, here's what Jesus says. "These things I have spoken to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world." Pretty plain, isn't it? In the world we will have tribulation. Why? Because the man, the king of Babylon, has made it like a wilderness. Who does this man or king of Babylon represent? Friend, it's not an individual, but an essence. Not something outside of us, but within us. It is the natural, carnal man that Paul calls the first man Adam in 1 Corinthians 15:45. Here's the reality. The world is a beautiful place, full of diversity and teeming with life everywhere, simply amazing in its splendor. But what man has done to it and to each other over the centuries due to his excessive love of self is simply hard to comprehend. This pride, this arrogance, this excessive love of self, dear brother and sister, is what must be overcome within our hearts and minds. And it begins by recognizing our need for the wilderness, for our tribulation, for the suffering we bring into our lives by placing such value on the temporal things. Solomon said, I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and indeed, all is vanity and grasping for the wind. When it's all said and done, it is only loving God and others that truly matters. This is life.